Before we get started, I would like to say thank you. I appreciate your support. If you like this content, please go ahead and hit the like button. If you would like to continue getting more updates from me, go ahead and hit subscribe. Otherwise, it's a free country, and I'm glad you took a couple seconds to watch this. Did you know there's a naming convention for RPM packages? I didn't until I read the book. Or rather, I kind of knew there was one because I realized it was following a set pattern, but I didn't exactly know the rules to that pattern. So let's go ahead and get started and explain how your packages are named. First, it starts with the name of the actual package. In our case, we have Lynx, which is a text-based web browser. So it starts with the package name, Lynx. Then there is the version of the package. So that would be 2.8.9. Then there is the subversion of the package. So sometimes they might make a minor revision to the package just for bug fixes or security fixes. Then there is the Red Hat version it was created for. In our case, that is EL9 for RHEL9. And finally, there is the architecture the package was made for, x86-64, which means it was made for modern conventional CPUs like Intel and AMD CPUs. When you install an application on a Linux server, an entry gets added to a database. There's actually two databases on your server, one for applications installed via DNF and another for applications installed via RPM. Since we've already talked about DNF, let's dive deeper into the RPM command. What if we want to get a list of all the packages installed on our server? We have two options. We can do RPM-QA, or we can do DNF list installed. And as you can see, they put out the same thing, but DNF is a little bit easier to read. But sometimes DNF might not be installed on your system or it might not be configured correctly. So the RPM is a nice, convenient fallback. All right then, what if we wanted to use the RPM command to get some information about a package? To do that, we would do RPM-QI, so query information, and then we would do nmap as our test mule. As you can see, we have a bunch of information about that application. You see, nmap is a utility for network exploration or security auditing. What if we want to list all the files inside of a package? Well, that's pretty easy. We could do RPM-QL, and then we can do nmap. So L is for list, and you see it lists all the files that come attached inside of that nmap application. What if we then want to get some documentation on how to use nmap? We could do RPM-QD for documentation, nmap, right? And it shows us all the different documentation for nmap. More specifically, one we want to pay attention to is user shared doc nmap readme. So if we were to do this, highlight this one, and then do cat, and then we paste, then we hit enter. As you can see, it outputs some documentation, but unfortunately this readme file is empty, which tends to happen with Linux packages. And that is it, boys. That is the lowdown on RPM files. Thank you again for tuning in. If you like these videos, tune in tomorrow. There's probably going to be more, unless of course it's Saturday or Sunday, because those are my days off of both work and this hobby.